How do you manage software developers? You've got your team, you want to know how to manage your work to keep things efficient and quick and get stuff done. How do you do it? Hello, softwarepreneurs. Welcome back to Swattage, the Software Innovation Lab. If you're new here, my name is Dale Richards. I'm a software innovator from Salt Lake City, Utah, and I love making software that changes the world. I'm building a SaaS product from concept to cash, and I'm taking you with me for the ride. If you want to change the world, build apps, grow your SaaS business, and make money doing cool software entrepreneur-related stuff, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell. When you're managing a software team, you are your biggest bottleneck. You think you have to manage everybody's work and their tasks and keep everybody on track, but before you know it, they have all these questions for you. They have all of these issues they need you to resolve, and you're going to become the bottleneck. You're going to become the blocker for your own team. You want to remove yourself as much as you possibly can. And you want to do that by empowering your team members to solve their own problems. How do you do that? Well, you do it by creating simple rules for self-organization. This concept of creating simple rules for self-organizing teams comes from The New Science of Radical Innovation by Dr. Sunnie Giles. This book is a must-have for your personal softwarepreneurship library, so we'll put a link to it in the description below. So the idea is kind of like an ant colony or a termite colony. You've got basically a lot of individual agents, kind of like software developers. They need to take action, but they need a simple set of rules so they don't have to be micromanaged by a central coordinator. Doing this allows the members of the team to function autonomously and to create a result that is more than just the sum of its parts. Back to the ant colony or the termite colony. These insects, they're able to coordinate their efforts. They're able to warm the habitat, maintain their environment around themselves. They're able to find food, to communicate with each other, signal where the food is. So the simple set of rules governs their behavior, and as a result, the overall group is able to achieve something much more than the individuals would be able to. And it's the same thing for teams and leadership and collaboration. So how do you do that when you're managing your own software team? Well, here is a basic set of rules that I use for the software teams that I create. So I'm going to share these with you, not because they're going to be the right set of rules for your team, but so that you can at least get a feel for the kinds of rules you should be thinking about when you form your own software team. Rule number one record per user story. That means that for every feature that we want to create in a client's app, we want to have one user story. And in whatever work management system we're using, if it's Jira or Trello or whatever that is, we're going to have one record for that user story. Rule number two, attach everything related to that user story to the user story's record. That means that if you've got mockups that are related to that user story, you attach the mockups. If you have comments and discussion, it's attached to the user story. If you have code questions and discussion about how to code the back end, the front end, again, attached to the user story. Questions for the business, they get attached to the user story. Rule number three, create a simple workflow with the order of tasks in that workflow. So what that means is that we're trying to say, okay, well, how are we going to order the work that we're doing? I'll give you an example. So the workflow that we use at Swattage is after the user story is created, we go first to wireframe approval, mockup approval, back-end development, front-end development, integration, automated unit testing, functional testing, customer acceptance testing, or user acceptance testing, UAT, and then finally deployment. That is the order of tasks for one user story. Rule number four, build the workflow into a simple tool that will allow you to create a Kanban board. And we can go more into Kanban in another video, but basically Kanban is you've got columns for each step in the flow, and then you've got stickies or cards or records in each column. Rule number five, move the stories from left to right. Rule number six, focus on the stories in your column. So if you're assigned to do the backend development for this project, then you need to look at all of the stories that are in your column and focus on those. Rule number seven, when you finish your step in the workflow, move the user story out of your column to the right, into the next person's column. Rule number 8 is the opposite of rule number 7. If you don't have enough information about the task that you're trying to perform, then move the user story back to the left to the previous person who was supposed to provide you with enough information for your task. Rule number 9, ask questions and get input and feedback from the person who can answer your questions. And rule number 10, involve the leader when needed. That means that you don't have to ask the leader every single question like, what do I do about this? What do I do about this? Well, someone else actually has the answer to the question. Don't make me or whoever is leading the team, like your team members should not make you answer every question. If they can get that answer from the person who can answer the question directly. That sounds counterintuitive. I know it sounds kind of crazy. Like, why would we cut the leader or the project manager or the product manager out of the workflow? Well, you do want to keep that person informed. So you want to like copy them on stuff, CC. You want them to be able to see the activity, what's going on. But you don't want to make them get the answer for you. So you want them to be informed, but you want to be proactive enough. And if we're looking at this through the lens of the leader, you want your people to go straight to the source of the other team member that can answer their question. They don't have to make you the bottleneck. They don't have to make you the source of information. They can go straight to them. So you want to tell your team members, go to whom you need to get what you need, and copy me on it. So there you go. One basic set of rules that you could use. I'm not here to say that this is the only true set of rules. Definitely rules evolve around the specific circumstances that you're in. So you want to define the set of rules that works best for you and your team. This is not about applying a rigid set of best practices. This is about adapting the rules around the specific circumstances and the complex issues that we're dealing with as we build software. Coming up next on Swattage, the Software Innovation Lab, how do you actually build these simple workflows and rules into your management tools like Jira or Asana? We're going to walk you through how to set up a Jira Kanban board and incorporate rules of automation into it. Join us again. Videos are published every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 noon Mountain Time.